Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a review for The Wastelands by Stephen King. It's the third book in the Dark Tower series. Um, this is by far my favorite book so far in the series. Things are really picking up. Things are interesting. This is a beat up copy from my library. It's one of the older ones. I showed this book in a book haul. It was a different version of this book. I've checked it out two or three times while I was trying to read it from my library, and sometimes I ended up with a different copy, but it's got really fun art in it. And one of the things that I really loved and enjoyed was the fact that this book, it continues to follow Roland, and it continues to follow Odetta, who is now calling herself Susanna, and Detta, who is Odetta's other personality, and Eddie from the last book. And it brings Jake back, and basically the team gets together, and you see more of Roland's land, and you learn more about his history, and you learn more about Eddie and Detta, and their relationship is developing, and you learn a lot more about Jake, and you also see the gunslinger training Eddie and Susanna as gunslingers. And the thing that is so interesting about this book, because of like when it was written, I'm going to say it was like the early to mid 80s. The main character, this book has a copyright of 1991. So one of the main characters, which is Susanna, is a black woman. She's a double amputee, and she's got multiple personality disorder, or DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. That's what MPD goes by now. And she is immediately the strongest of the team of three. She's the best gunslinger. She uses her disabilities as like superpowers. And it's not often you see somebody who fits so many minorities and marginalized into so many marginalized groups done like this, and especially for this time that this book was written in. And it's amazing. She is by far my favorite character. She is fierce. When you first meet her, she is both Detta and Odetta, and Odetta is a black activist, and Detta is a poor black woman she's an activist kind of in her own right, but most of her sort of fighting back against the oppression is self-harming and dangerous. And her cause is good, but because of the fact that she is from part of like the abused version of Odetta, there's a lot of acting out, but it's never talked about as if that makes her anything less. In fact, there are several times where the Detta side of the personality is actually the side of the personality that saves the day. Though, like I said, the Odetta personality is the more forward personality, and she also saves the day. When the identity becomes Susanna, she's equal parts Detta and Odetta, and they come together to form a more whole person, and it's amazing. And another thing that I love is that they complain sometimes like about the weight of Susanna's wheelchair, but they never hold it against Susanna. And In fact, there are a few times where Susanna even says that she's letting them push her in the wheelchair, um, because it lets her slow her pace down for them. Because if she moved like with on her hands and thighs, which is how she walks when she's not in her chair, she would she would be able to move much faster, and they wouldn't be able to keep up. But yeah, she's all strength and fierceness, and they never complain or talk bad about her being less than a whole person. Um, like I said, most of the time when they refer to it, they just refer to her body as if it's just a different version of anybody's body. Like, I'm fat and that guy's skinny, and it doesn't make a difference. Um, and like, if they refer to it as something less than or something other than normal, it's that she is stronger or better, or because of her injury, she's developed muscles in her arms that make her better able to like climb or whatever, that she has better arm strength if she has to grab a hold of something and hold on. It's just, to me, it seems really amazing, and I love the character. Um, in this book, you also learn a lot more about how Roland's world got to be the way it is, and that's really interesting. You meet a lot of new and interesting characters. You get glimpses into how the world has changed and how it continues to change, like how time has warped, and you learn things. This book is actually considered in the sci-fi genre because Roland's world isn't as backward as we think it is, and there are allusions to make it seem like possibly Roland's world used to be far more advanced than our world is. And I can't really say much more without spoiling things, but I love this book. It's the best book in the series. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. I think I've given them all 5 stars so far, but this one, if I could give it a 6 star, I would. It's been my favorite. And not that I didn't like the others, but this one, I don't know, it just spoke to me more. It made me more interested. And I also, you get to see some of the magic that's in Roland's world. And I think that helped get me into it. Like, I'm very much a armchair cultural anthropologist, and part of the reason I like to read is because I like to learn about the characters' worlds and why they are the way they are. And I got that a lot more in this book, and so I loved it. There is a movie coming out from this series. That's why I'm reading it. I'm getting ready to start book 4 very soon. I've heard that the movie is supposed to be sort of like a sequel to the books, so I'm trying to finish before this comes out in August or September, I think. There was a new trailer for the movie dropped yesterday, which means you'd think I'd be able to remember the release date better, but I don't. Um, so yeah, if you want to pick these books up and read it, definitely do. Try to finish them before the movie so you won't be lost. Though from what I've seen, the little clips of the trailers, it does seem like they will go back and talk about some of the history to bring everybody up to date before they move completely on. So you don't have to read the books. I mean, you never have to read the books. It's a movie. But I prefer to, just because I want to experience the world as a whole, especially because I know with Stephen King books, the movie can never be long enough to do the book justice. Even when, like with The Stand, where the TV movie is like 8 hours long, it still doesn't do justice to the book, which is like 1,300 pages. So yeah, I enjoyed this book. I hope that you enjoyed my review, and I hope that it might entice you to pick up the series. You don't have to be into westerns or anything like that to read this. I don't like westerns. I love this book. So yeah. Thank you for watching, and keep reading.